you are. I was just reading in one of my favorite books, The Farther Reaches of Human Nature by Abraham Maslow, and getting ready for episode number 2 of your new favorite television show, Coffee Time with your friend Brad. I've got a fresh cup of coffee right here, and plenty of reflections to offer on this week's reading and laying, and exciting things to think about for next week's class, week number 3 of 8 weeks. So hopefully you found the reading to be incredibly interesting, and you've not been able to put the book down, and perhaps you've read so far ahead that you finished the book and you don't know what to do. Well, let's go back to that second chapter, thinking about predictions. Now, in our own lives, you can think about different types of examples when you have predicted something. So, for example, if I predict the winning lottery numbers, right? A couple weeks ago, the lottery was like way out of proportion. It was crazy, so I bought a couple lottery tickets. Well, guess what? When I woke up in the morning, I was really interested to know if I had predicted the right numbers. Guess what? Oh, some bad news. I didn't win. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone because I probably wouldn't be doing coffee time with your friend Brad. I'd probably be on a beach someplace, right? But predictions are fun. The author talks about predictions in sports analogies, but we can think of all kinds of different situations where predictions and asking our students to predict things can actually increase retention. And there are five real quick takeaways that I want us to get from the idea of prediction. So the first one is what I've just said, which is that when students take time to make predictions about material that they're getting ready to learn, it increases their retention in the same way that it increases our retention and our intention and our attention in those things that we're going to be predicting, right? So I want to know the winning lottery numbers. I want to know the winning score from the game. I want to know who won the bet, so on and so on. It increases retention, attention, and intention. It's a lot of tensions there. So don't miss those 3 things. Number 2, even when prediction is incorrect, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, even when the prediction is incorrect, it can increase subsequent retention. That's interesting, right? That I got it wrong, but remember, we're making these connections in the brain and these neural pathways, and we're connecting knowledge and we're running forward. But when I make incorrect predictions, I need to receive that feedback fairly immediately. Think about if I was playing the lottery and I didn't know in like 2 months down the road if I had won. I'd probably lose attention. I wouldn't be that interested. I'd probably move on to something other things in my life. If we do not want to have those wrong answers solidified, that is to make a deeper impression in the brain, then we have to give that feedback fairly quickly, fairly immediately, Lang says. Number 3, prediction helps implant new facts and identify gaps in knowledge. When students make predictions about material, so for example, maybe I'm teaching a physiology class or I'm teaching a biology class and I'm asking students to make predictions about the way different types of body parts or different types of systems within my body interact with one another. Even if they don't know that information, it can help students identify that they don't know it. So it identifies the gap and they know they need to go study it. It helps implant then the new facts that you're going to talk about. Number 4, I would encourage you to think about talking with your students about why you're having them predict stuff. It can be like kind of an odd thing, like, hey, what do you think this class is about? Or, hey, what do you think this system in the body is about? Or, hey, what do you think will happen if we do X, Y, Z for this patient? What do you think might happen? After you ask them that, you might then think about following up to say, here's why I'm asking you to predict in this scenario. Here's why I'm asking you to predict in this case. That way, they know why you're doing it, and it helps create an even deeper impression in their long-term memory. And then lastly, my recommendation for you would be, and Lang makes the same recommendation, is that questions should be at a conceptual level, right? So we might not ask, well, what's the specific artery, or what's the specific bone, or what's the specific tooth, or what's the specific whatever, because students don't know that stuff. They haven't been taught that material yet. So how would they know? It can shut down learning is what I'm saying, particularly if we don't follow back up really quickly and let them know that actually this is what this system does, or this is what this bone structure looks like. So I would encourage you to think about how you can ask predicting questions at the conceptual level and not necessarily at the detail level. Now, we'll get to the detail level later when we think about testing and how we increase learning through exams and quizzes and things like that. We touched on that even a little bit last week with the foundation of knowledge. Well, I don't know about you, but I have been inspired by these 5 things around prediction. So 5 quick takeaways around prediction that hopefully you can use and implement in your classroom this week. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to spend some time with you today on Coffee Time with your friend Brad, and I cannot wait until episode number 3. Take care. Until then, I hope your coffee stays hot.